I was always enamored with the psychology behind communication. And so I made it a mission in life to not work hard. I wanted to work smart.
Welcome back to the List Building Lifestyle. I'm your host, Igor, and today I'm chatting with Derek Gaunt. Now, Derek is somebody as I've been seeking out to get on the show for some time because he's an author of Ego, Authority, Failure, using emotional intelligence like a hostage negotiator to succeed as a leader. That's now in its second edition. And Derek is an accomplished trainer and negotiations coach for the Black Swan Group, the same group that produced other trainers such as Chris Voss, who we also hosted on the show, the author of Never Split the Difference. Now, Derek has over 17 years of experience in providing negotiations and leadership training to corporate, government, and law enforcement personnel. A 29-year law enforcement veteran, the majority of Derek's career was spent as a member and leader of hostage negotiations teams. During his time with these teams, he became one of the most respected hostage negotiation leaders in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. Derek has conducted leadership training around the world, teaching leaders how to apply hostage negotiations practices and principles to their world. So, Derek, welcome to the List Building Lifestyle.
Thank you, Igor. It's a pleasure to be here.
Trust me, the pleasure is all mine. I'm so excited to talk to you because, and I've shared this with you before we started, how I like to go and watch the Black Swan Group YouTube channel. In fact, I believe that for some reason you guys put out content that I would be willing to pay thousands of dollars for, really, and it's all free. It's quite amazing where you break down your techniques and the different situations, and you having clients share feedback and share their own scripts and different language patterns, and it's quite insane because the subtleties to which you take human communication is what I believe should be the default experience for all of us growing up. I really think we should be teaching this stuff in school because if we become better communicators as a species, we will advance together in a more effective way than we do now. Plus, we could avoid things like conflicts and war and just create great deals together,
Yeah.
right? And I grew up in Ukraine until I was about 12. Then my family moved to Israel, and now I live in Canada with my own family, wife, and two kids. So I got to experience three completely different societies as far as negotiation styles, as far as communication styles, as far as what is considered to be appropriate and not appropriate. And what I find most valuable about your communication style is how you have the ability to be very, I want to say, solid or like, I don't want to say forceful because that's not the word, but you could be super again, solid, I guess maybe the word. And then you can switch and you can be super empathetic and your tone of voice would be almost soothing. Sometimes I would just turn on your videos and try to listen to your voice and the tempo, and you can speed it up and you can slow it down. And it's so incredible. And I was wondering if you can talk about that a little bit. How did you train for that? What have you learned doing that? And how did you become so proficient at it?
Um, it started for me way back when I was a new police officer, and I had probably been on the streets for a year and a half before I got pulled into a specialized assignment. Now, in that specialized assignment, I was a part of a group that focused on street level narcotics violations. And in carrying out those enforcement actions, obviously we would be arresting people. And it wasn't long after I started interviewing these people that I realized that I had a natural inclination to be able to say specific things in a specific manner to elicit specific information that most of the people that I encountered were not inclined to give me, either because they were so traumatized by the event that they had been involved in. They were worried about being viewed as a cooperator with law enforcement, or they were concerned about their own penal interest. In other words, they were concerned about more exposure to the law enforcement environment. So they fit into one of those three categories. So naturally, they weren't inclined to share information with me. But it wasn't long after doing that type of work that I realized that I had the power to get information from them that they were reluctant to give in order to move further up the criminal food chain, if you will.
Yo, it's Igor. I want you to have my Amazon best-selling book for free for taking the time to listen to my podcast and to watch my YouTube videos. Now, I'm not only going to give you this book for free, but I'm going to throw in about $3.2 thousand in free bonuses. Now, if you want to get this book, please click the link in the description, or you can also go to igorsbook.com. And now, back to the podcast.
And so, I spent about 4 years doing that before I was assigned as a detective in the detective bureau. And that just took my interview and interrogation skills to a whole new level. And so I was always enamored with the psychology behind communication. And so I made it a mission in life to not work hard. I wanted to work smart. And in police work, working hard means exactly what you would imagine it would be. There were guys that I worked next to within my agency that would go out on a call, and every time they went out on a call, there was conflict, and they were fighting with someone, or they were chasing someone, and they're calling for help on the radio. And I made it a mission in life not to be part of that clique. Why fight a guy into my police car when I can talk a guy into my police car? So that's pretty much when it started for me. And since that time, I became a student of the game. So I became a detective in '94, and then I became a hostage negotiator in 1997. And from that point on, I was so intrigued by the ability to communicate, to influence, that I just became a student of the game. And so I learned. I just continued to teach myself. This is not something that people are necessarily born with. All of these skills that we talk about are learned behaviors. So my point for saying that is that it's available to anybody if you would just take the time. That's one of the reasons why most people won't engage in communication to this level, is because it takes energy and it takes effort. And by and large, most people are lazy.